You ever look up at a really clear star-filled night sky, or maybe see one of those brand new images from a space telescope and just feel something? A feeling that's kind of hard to put into words, but you know it's big. Well, let's get into it, because that feeling, it has a pretty amazing backstory. So when NASA dropped the first images from the James Webb Space Telescope, this is how they described it. A tiny piece of the universe, about the size of one single grain of sand held out at arm's length. And inside that one grain, thousands of galaxies, each one with billions of stars. I mean, a scale that vast, it just about breaks your brain, right? And that feeling of something so big, it's almost impossible to grasp, that's what we're going to dig into. Why do these pictures, these little windows into infinity, hit us so hard emotionally? What exactly is that feeling of awe? And where in the world does it come from? To get started, let's just look at how we talk about this feeling right now. We've got a whole bunch of words for it, even if not a single one feels like it totally nails it. We really do try, don't we? We say awe, of course, but then there's stuff like cosmic vertigo, that dizzying sense of, whoa, I am tiny. Some people feel transcendence, like they're connecting with the whole universe. For others, it's more like cosmic insignificance. Even former President Obama, when he saw the web photos, his take was just mind-blowing. It's like we're all pointing at the same powerful emotion, just from different angles. But here's the really wild part. To actually understand our 21st century reaction to these amazing digital pictures, we have to look backward. Way, way back. Before photography, before we had these powerful telescopes, all the way to 18th century philosophy. And that path leads us straight to an Irish philosopher named Edmund Burke. He was wrestling with these exact same feelings long before anyone had ever seen a picture from the Hubble. So picture this. It's 1757, and Burke publishes this book that totally changed how people thought about art and nature. He was asking what seems like a simple question. Why does looking at a huge mountain or a crazy ocean storm feel so different from looking at a beautiful flower? He realized we were lumping two totally different feelings together. We needed a category for beautiful and something else. And that something else he called the sublime. For Burke, the sublime wasn't just pretty, it wasn't just pleasant. It wasn't an experience of awe, sure, but it was an awe that was mixed with a little bit of fear, a sense of being totally overwhelmed by something way, way more powerful than you are. And Burke really broke this down for us. You've got the beautiful, right? That's about pleasure, calm, smallness, light. Think smooth, delicate, graceful things. But the sublime? Oh, that's a whole different animal. It's about power, vastness, darkness, magnificence. It's the feeling you get from things that are difficult, infinite, and yeah, even a little bit terrifying. Kind of sounds like staring into deep space, doesn't it? Okay, so how does this old school philosophy idea connect to the pictures popping up on our phones and screens today? Listen to how Burke described the feeling of facing a power you can't even comprehend. He said we shrink into the minuteness of our own nature, that we're basically annihilated before it. That feeling of shrinking, of being annihilated, that is the sublime. It's the cosmic insignificance we were just talking about. And that's it, right there. The swirling chaos of a nebula, the insane, uncountable number of stars in a galaxy, these images are our modern sublime. They trigger that perfect cocktail Burke described, awe mixed with just a little bit of terror at the sheer, mind-bending scale of it all. But wait, it gets even cooler. That feeling of awe we get from these images, it's not just a happy accident of science. Turns out, it's also the result of very deliberate, very artistic choices. Yeah, a cultural historian named Elizabeth Kessler has studied this a ton, and she argues that the people who put these images together for NASA aren't just presenting raw data. They're actually crafting a visual experience, using artistic ideas to help us feel that sublime wonder. You see, telescopes like James Webb see in light our eyes can't, like infrared. So the scientists have to translate that data for us. They assign different colors to different wavelengths of light, and then they layer all those black and white images together to create the final masterpiece. It's this amazing collaboration, as Kessler says, between humans and technology. Okay, here's a perfect example. The pillars of creation. You've probably seen it. The way it's usually shown, it's just majestic, you know? The pillars look like they're towering over you, reaching up into the universe. It's the perfect picture of grandeur, of sublime awe. But here's the kicker. That orientation, it's a choice. The telescope captured the data, but a person decided which way was up, because in space, there is no up or down. So look what happens when you just flip it over. As Kessler points out, it's not majestic anymore. It looks, well, in her words, monstrous and gruesome, like it's oozing down the page instead of soaring. It's the exact same data, just a different artistic choice and a completely different emotional reaction. That proves just how carefully that feeling of awe is being built for us. So we know what this feeling is, we know where the idea came from, and we know how it's made. But the last big question is, why does any of this matter? Is there actually a benefit to feeling this kind of awe? Well, according to Stanford neurosurgeon James Doty, the answer is a big emphatic yes. Experiencing awe is actually incredibly good for us. It does something really powerful. It gets us out of our own heads. It helps us feel connected to something bigger than ourselves, a sense of oneness that can give us a real feeling of purpose. And get this, it can even help calm our anxieties about the unknown. As Dr. Doty puts it so perfectly, we arise from stardust and we return to stardust. That feeling of awe is a reminder of this incredible connection. It tells us that we're a part of this huge, sublime universe, which makes us feel both incredibly small and incredibly special, all at the same time. So the next time you see one of those absolutely breathtaking images of the cosmos, you'll know what you're feeling. It's the sublime, an emotion people have been trying to wrap their heads around for centuries. And it leaves us with one last thought. It doesn't have to be a galaxy billions of light years away. Awe is all around us. So the only real question is, where are you going to find yours?